In 1931, with the Japanese invasion of China's northeastern provinces, the World Anti-Fascist War began. It lasted 14 years. In 1936, European theatre of the World Anti-Fascist War, and my father went to Spain to join the international brigades. He was wounded in the Battle of Jarama, met Dr. Bethune, and it was there in 1937. And it was that same year that the Marco Polo Bridge incident happened. Which marked the beginning of the all-out invasion of China.
While the Chinese military and civilians were bravely combating the Japanese invaders, anti-fascist fighters from around the world crossed oceans and battlefields to arrive in China. They fought alongside the Chinese people, leaving their footprints of solidarity in the towering Taihong Mountains.
1938年，白求恩到中国以后呢，是先去的延安嘛。他是6月17号，到金沙记。他来的时候带了很多医疗器械、物资啊，然后他就提出要建医院。就在松烟口那儿是一个庙，但这庙啊，建个医院也别建太大了，做一个示范。也让咱们的这个医务人员啊有一个学习的平台，就18天就转移了。25号这个医院就让鬼子给烧了。白求恩有个什么渴望呢？就是直接上战场去救护伤员，他非常迫切。
Norman Bethune declared, "Treat me like a machine gun. From a hospital 30 kilometers behind the front, to erecting an operating table just 6 kilometers from the battlefield, and finally to setting up within 3.5 kilometers of the front line." Even when gunfire lit up the curtains of his operating room, he pressed on, never putting down his scalpel. Once, while operating on a soldier who urgently needed blood, Dr. Bethune stepped forward without hesitation and said, "I'm a universal donor. Take my blood."
就是他把这个书写技术，他是第一个带到了咱们八路军，带来以后又把方法教给咱们，然后把大家都给招进来，跟大家讲这献血对伤员多么重要，对咱们的身体不会有什么损害。就大家讲出去了以后，那老百姓特踊跃，一下子青壮年就报名就报了100多。就不是一个村儿，是一大片。到时候需要你了，就把你叫来。献完血以后，给你一小布条，叫给血光荣，这就保证了那个血源问题。当时白求恩一看，哟，这架势，白求恩就特感动。这是发动群众哈，你们真了不起！说没想到八路军这是人民血液银行，我在西班牙，我怎么就没想到这一招呢？
这个照片呢是拍摄了白求恩大夫支援中国抗日战争留下的最后一个照片。这个地点呢是在涞源县王安镇孙家庄村外小庙。这个是有正脸的，就是我父亲。就看到白求恩在包扎手，他那个手拉了，没想到就是这个伤口，后来再给另外一个受伤的一个伤员做手术，受到单独感染，结果 引发败血症，最后在11月12号就去世了。
In just over a year spent in China, he founded a medical school and a mobile hospital, saving the lives of thousands of sick and wounded soldiers. Yet his life was cut tragically short. And this farewell came far too soon. But the Chinese people have never forgotten his name, Norman Bethune.
His work helped to inspire many other internationalist fighters who helped China on the, including on the medical front. One of them was Kathleen Hall, Dr. Bethune called his angel. Kathleen Hall, who is known to the Chinese as He Mingqing, was a New Zealand missionary. She came to China with great love, and she eventually settled in a remote, poor village of Songjiazhuang in a poor county called Quyang in Hebei province.
陈巴凯先生，您知道当时1935年何明清建立诊所的时候，为当地的老百姓治病，也为八路军治病。
In 1938, two very special visitors had come to her clinic. Commander Nie Rongjian of the Shaanxi Chahar Hebei military area, and Dr. Norman Bethune, the medical advisor to the area. They sought her assistance in transporting medical supplies. Kathleen Ho responded candidly, "You probably won't want my help. I'm a missionary." Nie Rongjian replied sincerely, "Your faith lies in God. Ours rests with the people, and we fight for the people." Her heart resonated deeply with those words.
She was able to travel to Japanese-occupied Beiping. Beijing was then called Beiping, and then purchase supplies and eventually on to supply Dr. Bethune. In August of 1939, Dr. Bethune wrote a report to the communist forces in Yan'an, headquarters in Yan'an. My medical supplies have mainly been brought to me courtesy of Kathleen Hall of Songjiazhuang. She has purveyed for me medical supplies and medicines, and this should be enough to help the 8th Route Army through the winter.
它不光是药，有的时候聂荣臻元帅，你再给我们带点什么电台的部件过来，当然不是整个电台的部件，所以要把这些部件搁在药品里面。
And when she saw the atrocities committed by the Japanese fascists of burning and killing and looting, she was outraged.
日本鬼子搜查的时候，他一手拿着他的护照，一手挡着这个教堂的门。那后面是什么？这个背后，那就是咱们八路军的伤员。他用这种方式救了很多人。后来呢，毕竟他这么多次的那个做了这么多贡献，也是暴露了吧。39年烧了他的教堂，没办法了，就去了香港。到了香港以后，就是共和国际委员会的主席，那叫何明华，中国名字叫何明华。他说：“这样吧，咱们去找宋庆龄先生吧。”宋庆龄先生马上决定介绍你中国红十字会，所以他就有身份了。
In October 1939, carrying 2 truckloads of medicine and supplies entrusted to her by Song Qing-ling, she departed from Hong Kong, traveled through Vietnam, and returned to China.
在贵州的时候，听说白求恩去世了，但是他离白求恩去世的时间已经是6个月了，他就特别伤心，大病一场。
In the last letter Dr. Bethune wrote before his death, he expressed his gratitude to Kathleen Hall.
Yes, she never married. She was a spinster, but when asked, she said, I married China.
最后93年的时候，他的骨灰一部分撒在咱们这莲花山上。
Although this second batch of medicines never reached the hands of Dr. Bethune, they were used by other internationalist doctors. For example, the Indian doctor, Dr. Cotness. In 1939, the young Indian doctor, Dr. Cotness, who was sent by the Congress Party in India, came full of fervor to battle-torn China. And he had a simple belief: when the neighbors are suffering from invasion, I just have to go.
Shortly after his arrival in China, Dr. Cotness received the devastating news of his father's death. Despite his family's pleas for him to return home, he wrote to his elder brother in a letter, I've witnessed rescuers pulling the lifeless bodies of men, women, and innocent children from the rubble. What sin have they committed to deserve such horror? Please console Mother as best as you can. My heart aches that I cannot be there to help.
During the 100 Regiment campaign, Dr. Cotness led the medical team and assisted in treating and saving the lives of over 800 soldiers. He was able, with his iron will, to save countless lives. In January 1941, Dr. Cotness was made the director of the Dr. Bethune International Peace Hospital and carried on the good work. In 1942, sadly, Dr. Cotness, who was totally worn out, died after an epileptic fit. And he died by the side of his good friend, the Austrian Dr. Richard Frey.
In 1938, Richard Frey, a young Austrian communist, was persecuted by the Nazis. So, he boarded a ship bound for China, having heard of an anti-fascist force there, the 8th Route Army, led by the Communist Party of China.
傅来呀，是在39年初就到了中国，因为他的目的是要去找共产党八路军嘛，所以呢，他就赶快要北上，他就从上海就到了天津。在天津找工作，有业余时间的时候，他就到外面去看看能不能接触到有关的人。警察这边去司令员别永贞已经知道了那个消息，就是同意你去了。当时那个傅来听到那个消息了以后，简直，他说非常激动，非常高兴，我可找到了。别永贞司令员接待了他。问他的名字啊什么的，他也听到傅来，那好，我给你取个名字，那个就叫傅来嘛，那以后。
Niranjan said, in German, the name Frey literally translates to freedom. You left your homeland occupied by fascists and came to China in pursuit of freedom. This name suits you well.
而且问了他会什么，能够做什么哈。李永珍就跟他说：“那好，那你就到那个北琼学校去。那个学校又培养战士的那个医疗，还给战士看病，这个对你很适合。”柯地华在北校，他们两个就成了好邻居。很多医疗啊、工作啊和生活很多都在一块儿，因为在一个院儿里，有什么事儿他们两个一定要争取参加。40年中期以后，那组织上就要调他到延安，后来就找了2个助手，就在延安的那个一个窑洞里面，他们就开始着手来做这个制造青霉素。
In May of 1945, the first batch of self-made penicillin was created in China, and it helped to save many, many lives.
In April 1953, Frey became a Chinese citizen. He devoted the rest of his life to the medical cause of the Chinese people.
Looking back over the years, it's been 80 years, and who were they that were fighting on this front in China? Well, there were people from all classes, professions. There were workers and peasants and intellectuals, wealthy people, poor people, and also people from different countries came. And if you look back at Europe, same thing. People cut across class boundaries, national boundaries, and even religious belief to fight together against the fascists. This is a real epic story. It is only when we cast aside our differences and work together that we can achieve peace. This year is the 80th anniversary of the victory of the World Anti-Fascist War. And now we continue to stand side by side to work towards a prosperous, peaceful, beautiful world.
Today we celebrated an event and we gathered people. So China was blessed with all sorts of international friends to work side by side.
Taking that kind of spirit and spreading it as much as we can and getting the idea out there. And I think the history from what all of these people have achieved is a great way to teach people.
The more we communicate, the better we understand each other, the better chances for peace.